We came across a really interesting show one evening that's kind of perfect for Dad After Dark. It's a show called Three Pines. It's a detective crime story. It takes place in Canada, and it stars Alfred Molina as Chief Inspector Gamache, a good man in a hard profession who runs afoul of, well, the evil that men do in a way. It's as much an internal struggle as it is a procedural crime drama, and the characters wrestle with moral ambiguities that seem inherent in our world, in all human society, and how small acts of kindness can often be the difference between a good day and a disaster, and how empathy, above all, tugs at us and keeps us from going down a bad path that can very easily echo out into the world around us and permeate our lives. This series kept me guessing, but more importantly, it kept me thinking for its entire 8-episode run, and it became evident as things wrapped up that we really weren't on a journey of crime solving as much as on a journey of bigger questions. How to live a just life with injustice all around us, even permeating the self-assigned families that we're embedded in, whether that's the police or a tribe or an estranged family, or even an entire remote town like Three Pines, where, as one character puts it so perfectly, everyone has come to start over in a way, so everyone has something to hide. Several episodes in, I began to get an uncomfortable feeling, good uncomfortable, that all the characters were somehow becoming incidental almost to a larger picture being drawn by the series writers as a whole, where there's almost a dark fate at work in the world these characters inhabit. And no matter what they did, they could only put it off for so long until that fate claimed its price. And I began to get that nagging feeling again that I was in the hands of some master storytellers, with echoes of, say, the Coen brothers, especially if you recall the Coens' A Serious Man, and how that character is being judged throughout the film, perhaps more harshly or more acutely than those around him. Like he's being set up, almost as a type of Job, to fail in some sort of cosmic or spiritual experiment. There are shades of not only A Serious Man, but also True Detective, the season with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, where there is a sort of universal scales being balanced or rebalanced through the actions or inactions of particular characters.
Take off your mask.
And Alfred Molina's Chief Inspector Gamache oozes that kind of gravitas as a character. A man fighting just to get out of bed sometimes, wrestling with his tortured past and childhood guilts, yet praised and held up as a paragon by his peers, to the extent that he has to believe it himself to a degree, just to survive in his job and get everyone home safe at night. And in doing so, he raises the bar for everyone and keeps the law somewhat whole, almost sacred, even while providing hope and empathy for those who falter. And there are many of those in the series.
No child should ever see what you saw.
Will I go to prison?
I hope not.
But the cracks in that mantle do start to appear, and then we see how it's often a tiny fissure in the truth that we live that breaks out into those larger cracks that tear our realities apart. I was reminded not only of the Coens, but of a couple of other thematic highlights in other movies too. A moment, for instance, from Broadcast News, if you remember that older film with William Hurt.
That Tom, while being a very nice guy, is the devil. He'll just bit by little bit lower our standards where they're important. Just a tiny little bit.
And even the sort of investigation into character and identity, the assumed identity of the good man that we get in, say, Bergman, too. But you can only wear that identity so long, and we become an amusement to fate, in a way, in our bid to keep our better identities going. You can play chess with fate, but you can't win. Things uncoil rapidly in the final episodes of Three Pines, where corruption and murder within not just the police department, but the inspector's closest circles ensnares them all. And the armor, the virtue of the best and brightest, is tested with just the smallest lies, the momentary indiscretions, which quickly balloon into the catastrophe that destroys everyone in its path.
Over the limit, junkie. You shouldn't have been driving.
Okay, I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. I'm not drunk, I swear. I was in control. I was. I'm sorry. Please.
I was driving. I was driving and you were shotgun. Now call it in.
It's hubris in the end, in a way, that brings him down. It's the myth of being above it all that the show is about. And nevertheless, the absolute necessity of trying anyway to be the good man or the good woman, the impossible man or woman.
Kind of existence.
Please forgive me.
That the world needs in order to survive. I'm glad we got that here with Alfred Molina. And I'm kind of glad that we parents, especially dads, watching it, and I hope you do watch it, can use it perhaps to reflect a bit on the impossibility of being a perfect man, the good dad that we want our kids to remember, and the necessity of getting up every day and trying to be that anyway. I think that's the level on which the show resonates with me most. Lots of family themes, even the chief inspector's co-workers function as a type of family, with him always scrutinized at his center. But it's a great show for everyone. Moms, dads, married, single, young, old, but no kids. It's an adult situation type of show. But everyone else is sure to get something out of it. And Alfred Molina is so good in it. I never knew how good an actor he really is. So sign me up for whatever he does next. One tip, you might be tempted watching this show to put the closed captions on, as they're deep in French-Canadian territory sometimes, and characters lapse into French now and then. And it's usually a sentence or two at the end of a scene, and few and far between. We didn't put it on until finally in one of the episodes toward the end, again, where suddenly the characters are playing an entire scene in French. And we realized, oops, but it's 99% in English. So if you find English subtitles of English dialogue distracting, like I do, leave it off and just pause and turn it back on very occasionally whenever it becomes needed. Guys, thanks again for watching. You can buy me a coffee if you want with a link below if you like this content, if you're so inclined, or just subscribe for more Dad After Dark. These episodes are spaced around our regular daddy-daughter movie nights, which another one will be coming up soon. So till then, take care. We'll see you soon. Oh, I don't have the thing. Okay. Mistake number 1 has been made.